Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Pickens Power Half Hour Dragon Talk right here on FYNTV.com. We are live with you here tonight. Again, we appreciate you tuning in as Team FYN Sports and Johnny's New York Style Pizza in Jasper, Georgia proudly presents this half hour of Dragon Talk. Dave Garner with you right here, and as always, we're joined by head coach Jeff Nelson here inside the Jim Locke Fieldhouse on the campus of Pickens High School. And our special guest here tonight, we have Zack Martin, our assistant coach of the week. He's the outside linebacker coach here at Pickens. Appreciate you being with us there, Coach.
No problem.
And also got a couple of players here joining us in the first segment. On the very end is Connor Browning, outside linebacker. He's a junior, and Rylan Holland, offensive lineman. They're a big right tackle, another junior with us. So a pair of juniors here in the first segment. Guys, thanks for being with us. Coach, let's talk a little bit. Didn't have a show last week. We appreciate you guys being with us here tonight. Of course, the Dragons heading into a bye week this week, so we will not have a show next week, but we'll rejoin you here in a couple of weeks after tonight, and we will rock and roll through the rest of the season as the Dragons get set to enter region play. But Coach, thanks for being with us. Got a lot to catch up over the last couple of weeks. A couple of ball games played by the Dragons, and taking a look at it, of course, 2 weeks ago, you guys were a winner over Coosa, 10-0. Tough ball game there, and came out, Dragon Stadium, played a good ball game. And, of course, on Friday night, traveling up to Blairsville to take on Union County, 28-14 loss. So a split over the last two games. Let's kind of get folks caught up a little bit. It's been a challenge. Got a good win against Coosa, a little bit short on Friday night, but overall, things are going pretty well.
Well, I think for a young team, you're seeing progress every week, and that's, when we started off this year, we knew there were going to be a lot of young folks playing for the first time, and a lot of positions to be filled by kids who haven't been out there on Friday night. And so when you do that, you're looking to get better each week, and eliminate some of those mistakes each week. And we're still making mistakes, but you can see some progress. Offensively, we're getting better and understanding. You can see more Friday night, even though we didn't score what we wanted. We were moving the ball up and down the field, and those are things that we look at, and you can see progress being made there.
Sure. Fell behind early in that ball game against Union County. Against Coosa, guys got up early, and defense pitched and shut out. Seems like every week, especially with a young team, I guess confidence is always such a big thing, and it seems like, even though this team has had its ups and downs with a younger lineup, as you would expect, they do have confidence about them in the way they carry themselves.
Yeah, they do. I think the older kids, even though we have very few seniors this year, and really for that matter, very few experienced players, those kids have stepped up and shown leadership, and they don't really get down. When things aren't going their way, they still fight. Mm-hmm. And you see that, and you can build off of that.
Absolutely. Looking at the region, obviously we're getting into the region ball games here in the next couple of weeks as the Dragons enjoy the bye week this week and put in some work getting set for Cedartown, which will take place in a couple of weeks, and we'll talk about that one a little bit later on as well, and of course entering the bye week there. But right now, Northwest Whitfield 4-0. Pickens, again, a couple of wins as we've talked about. Just about everyone in the region has a couple, with the exception of Ridgeland, who struggled out of the gate, winless so far on the season. But overall, the region's starting to shape up a little bit, getting into region play. And, of course, we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up as well. Coach Martin, thanks for being with us. One of the things that we've done each and every week when we've brought in coaches, we've talked about their position group. Let's talk a little bit about those outside linebackers, your position, your focus, emphasis right there, how those guys been working, and some of the things that you've been working on.
Like Coach Nelson was saying, it's getting kids every single week to get better, and Connor's done a really good job of improving every single week. And we've kind of been back and forth between working a wing T style offense, and then to a spread, and then to a wing T, and then a spread. So, just changing every week has been a little difficult, but, the more games we play, the more we get some experience, and Connor's done a really good job, and Michael Burrell also doing a really good job for us, so we're getting there.
Right. We were talking about, some of the earlier games. Dragons have won a couple out of the gate. One, of course, was a couple weeks ago against Coosa. It's always nice to put a zero on the board,
Absolutely.
right? Defensively, shutting out Coosa.
Absolutely.
So that was a big game there. How do you feel, this group is coming together, as we've talked about with Coach? I mean, certainly a younger group, not the experience that maybe we've seen over the last couple of years with the upperclassmen, but starting to come along. I mean, how do you work with a younger group? What's the single most important thing you're trying to convey to your guys?
The biggest thing is experience. We have a bunch of guys, like Coach is saying, that have never seen Friday night time, and so you can't practice that. You have to just get Friday night experience. And I think as we go through the season, you'll see that kind of take hold. Connor's a junior, and this is his first year really playing on Fridays, and we got a bunch of sophomores. And I think as the year goes on, those lights don't seem as bright,
Right.
and it's just reps.
Right. Yeah. There's no substitute for experience, and each and every week these Dragons are getting better, and that's what it's all about. Let's hear a little bit from Connor there at the end of the table, and also from Ryland as well. A couple of different position groups here in this first of two segments. And Connor, talk a little bit about your game, as Coach was saying, singing your praises a little bit, a little smile on your face. Probably doesn't always that nice in practice, I'm sure, but talk a little bit about your game and what you feel like you've been able to bring to the table so far.
I definitely think last week was a little worse than the week before. We didn't play as good as we could.
Yeah, but it's a progression, right? I mean,
Yes, sir.
each and every week you try to take something away. What have you guys been able to take away so far from the first half of the season? I mean, you got 5 under your belt, 5 to go. Now they're all region games; they start to count. What have you learned about yourselves, particularly as a linebacking group, over these first 5 games?
We're doing pretty good against the wing T.
Yeah. So as long as y'all play wing T teams, you'll be
Oh,
all
yeah.
right. We'll have to see how that goes. But no, I mean, you guys, I can see the improvement and everything, and so that's what it's all about. Ryland, how about from an offensive standpoint? Let's flip over to the other side there, man. You're the right tackle. That's the big money position on the offensive line, right? Those tackles get paid. So, but talk about as a junior and from an offensive line standpoint, how have you guys come together, and what are some things that you guys are working on to get better?
I think we have come together greatly. I think we're a team amongst ourselves as O-linemen. We've been also putting in board drill, the sled. We've been working a lot of stuff. And as right tackle, they expect us to know a lot of blocks, and they expect us to be able to beat the guy across from us or outside of us or inside of us.
Right. One thing you guys have, you got some size up front. We've talked to a couple different guys, Sam, a few of the guys that you play with and everything. You're another guy, you're a pretty big guy, and everything. You can hold your own up there. What are you doing individually? I know football's a team sport, and we talk about it, but how about you individually? Is there anything in particular that you're working on in practice to get better?
Not really anything individually in practice. Everything is like a team effort. But outside of practice, I'm going individually training at places for O-line and agility and speed.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to put in the work a couple hours a day. With everyone else, it's something altogether to do it on your own, when the coaches aren't watching and those sorts of things. You guys as juniors, I want to kind of put this question to both of you. We know that we don't have as big a senior class as we've had in some of the upperclassmen like we've had the last couple of years. So do you guys, even as juniors, feel kind of a leadership role, on this team this year, especially for some of these younger guys? I mean, the fact that, the experience is not maybe as much as it has been the last couple of years. You guys are still playing well, but what do you think about your role as leaders? Do you feel that leadership role?
Yes, sir.
Definitely. What about you, Ryland?
Yes, sir. I really feel a big leadership role. I feel like we got to get the younger guys up and going for the next years that they come up and start playing varsity.
Sure. There you go. Awesome. What's your favorite part about playing football? Sometimes I just throw that out there. I know that's an easy kind of generic question, but what's your favorite part, Connor, about lacing it up on Friday nights?
Playing with a team.
Yeah. Coming off the edge, making a big hit, laying somebody out maybe.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
Come on, Connor.
Coach Martin's like, come on now. Yeah, you can be aggressive. How about you, Ryland? What do you like about it?
I love how everything's a family here. Everything's a team. We work together as hard as we can. Friday nights, I mean, you're out there. You know that you're on a family that cares about you. You know that you're out there with people that you can just kill other people with.
There you go. And that seems to be a common theme, Coach. Each and every week we talk to the players. I mean, I hear, family. I hear the togetherness. I hear a lot of those kind of things. So that says a lot about this group and how they're coming together. From the coaching standpoint, I mean, what do you see in some of these guys that stood out to you as far as those leadership qualities? I kind of want to fact check what they're saying and make sure what they're saying is true here. But what do you have to say about that as far as maybe some of these juniors?
Well, we talk about it all the time. It doesn't have to be senior led, but and we've mentioned it on here before. One of the big things that we tell the kids all the time is if it's coach led, you're just going to be okay. But if you're player led, they invest more because they're holding each other accountable, and you're starting to see that the more they get comfortable with what we're doing and buying into the system and seeing it work. The more that they start holding each other accountable, and that's something that we've pushed from day one. That we are a family. Whether we're having a good night or a bad night, we're going to pull together, and you're seeing the kids buy into that, and they're kind of taking it, by the horns and kind of leading with it.
Absolutely. Want to thank all of our Team FYN Sports sponsors. Appreciate you guys being on board with us right here. And want to remind folks to follow our Team FYN Sports on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow us at Twitter at Team FYN Sports for all of your Friday night updates, scores, and highlights from schools all across North Georgia, particularly these Pickens Dragons. And also be sure to hit the like on our Facebook page as well. We appreciate you guys being with us each and every week right here as we take you through the high school football season. Dragons again 2-3 after the first 5, but Coach now, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in the second segment as well. But non-region games over with. Now you guys turn your attention to the games that count. As far as the postseason go, the region games coming up here in a couple of weeks, and it's an exciting time. And I know for a lot of us, we weren't sure if we'd even be at this point, with everything going on in 2020. But here we are halfway through. What your assessment so far?
Well, I'm like you, and I think everybody in the room. We felt like as coaches, we felt like we were going to play. But there's always that element of what if, and to make it through that first game, I thought it was just kind of like, man, you just took the refrigerator off your back. You said, okay,
right.
Finally. And each week is like that because you still have that element of what if. But I think the kids have handled that really well. Mm-hmm. As far as just focusing on us and not anything around us, and with all the, each week this team not playing or that team has to cancel. Mm-hmm. Some of it is being fortunate, but I think our kids have been smart as well, and we've just had some luck on our side. But with all those things going, just finally getting the season started was the first hurdle, and then we felt like there were games that we kind of left on the table a little bit by making youth-related mistakes, and those things happen. But we are building off of them, and you can see each week, even though our record's not where we'd like it to be, obviously. Mm-hmm. And if you're satisfied with that, then you're as a fan maybe one thing, but as a coach, then if you're satisfied with that record, then you're not quite where you need to be. Well, I'm certainly disappointed. Our staff's disappointed, but we are seeing the work and the kids putting a positive attitude to this thing. So we're excited about getting the second half started and certainly being in region play. And we're going to be in a tough situation each week. And but I kind of like that. I like that feel. I want to see where our kids are at. And honestly, they're excited about region play. So I've been pleased with their attitude, and they're ready to roll.
Here we go. Cedartown coming up in a couple of weeks, and we'll talk about that one on the other side of the break in our second segment coming up here tonight. We appreciate you guys being with us right here. Coach Martin, how about your perspective, I guess, with COVID and being able to play and everything that's been going on, I guess?
I was telling Coach Nelson before this started, it was weird because the feeling of why we might not get to play, and then all of a sudden it's here, and we've just been go since then. And today this week is like the first time we've got to breathe. Mm-hmm. And just with all the COVID, you don't know what's going to happen. I think Coach Nelson just nailed it on the head. But once it started that first game, it's like, okay, it is football season. We're here. But as far as our team, the first half, there's one thing about our team is no matter what the score has been, we've played hard every single play. I mean, it's not a lack of effort has not been an issue, which is always good to see. And I think going into region play, that's something that we can tell the kids, guys, you play your butts off. We just got to keep working, keep getting better.
There you go. It's like they say, there's two folks in charge of the scoreboard, us and them. So, absolutely. Guys, thanks for being with us. We're going to go ahead and take our first time out. Again, Connor Browning, a junior outside linebacker, and Rylan Holland, a junior lineman, joining us right here on this first segment. Guys, look forward to seeing you out there the rest of the season. Go get them.
Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take our first time out. When we return, the second half of Dragon Talk. Stay with us right here. Team FYN Sports, proudly presenting on FYNTV.com live and also on demand under the Team FYN Sports tab. We'll be right back.
At Ingalls, we know that school is a little different this year, with virtual learning and working from home. But we have continued to donate to our Tools for Schools program, just like always. And all our participating schools will have those funds waiting for them when the bell rings this fall.
Okay, who can tell me the difference between molarity and molality?
In the meantime, Ingalls has everything you need to make this school year a little easier. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, one nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Hi everyone, Dave Garner here. You might know me as a regular contributor to Team FYN Sports and the Instant Replay, but did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative? My job is to make sure that families are protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement. I want to make sure that you leave your loved ones with memories, not expenses. Call me today to find out how I can help you to not outlive your money and that your money outlives you. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. Those everyday celebrations that bring a smile to our faces and joy to our hearts. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
And we welcome you back to the program. Again, the Pickens Power Half Hour Dragon Talk right here on FYNTV.com live and also on demand as well under the Team FYN Sports tab. I'm your host, Dave Garner, here with Coach Jeff Nelson, head coach of the Pickens Dragons, and our guest this week, again, Coach Zack Martin, outside linebacker coach here at Pickens. And our two players for this segment, again, we had, of course, we had Connor and Ryland in the first segment. Now we welcome in Colin Kellogg, junior free safety here at the end of the table, and Tom Frechette, wide receiver, junior as well. Guys, thanks for being with us. I like it. You know, I joke around every week with the guys about the hairstyles and everything. And Tom, you got some hair going on there, man. I like that. That's a good style right there. So anyway, we appreciate you guys being with us, and we're going to talk to you guys here in just a moment. Coach, obviously, and we were talking about the bye week, you know, and it comes really at a good time, right in the middle of the season, I guess. You get the first 5 non-region games out of the way. You have this bye week to kind of reset everything heading into region play. You know, how do you approach this bye week? What are some things that you guys feel like you want to use this week for?
Well, especially this year, you know, we talked to the kids about it. We did a lot of fundamentals today, just working on those things that we need to fix in order to get better for the push through the region. And again, when you have young kids that are playing for the first time, you know, there's never enough time to do individual and fundamental work. So we are focusing on that a lot this week, and then just focusing on us and fixing those things that we need to fix mentally and from a fundamental standpoint.
Sure. Coach Martin, I know, and you were talking a little bit about that as well, and talking about the effort, you know, even though not all the results have been there each and every week, you know, the effort has been there. And, you know, we were talking, I think it was maybe a couple shows back, we were talking about, you know, effort kind of being a conscious decision, you know, to be able to lead the region in effort, you know, is something that, you know, it's just a matter of the guys making up their mind they want to do. What's the focus for you guys as a position group this week, getting ready for the region opener next Friday?
Well, you know, it takes zero skill to give 100% effort. So that's
right.
One thing that anyone can do. So we stress that all the time. And, you know, as a position, you know, you just go game by game, and this is just going to be another game. We just happen to have a little bit extra time to work on some of the things we need to do. So, you know, and also we got a lot of kids that play both ways, and I think this bye week obviously helps that just to get our feet back under us. So, you know, as far as an individual group, you know, we'll work on what we need to work on, and we just got a little bit extra time.
Absolutely. Want to welcome you guys in. Once again, this is Dragon Talk each and every week during the high school football season. I want to thank all of our sponsors and, of course, our folks on social media, Team FYN Sports on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Team FYN Sports for all your Friday night scores and highlights and updates, particularly with this Pickens Dragons team as they get set to go into the bye week. As we mentioned earlier, no show next week. We will rejoin you after the Dragons play Cedartown in a couple of weeks. And we appreciate you guys being with us. Catch RJ Casey down on the sidelines. He, of course, is writing up the articles for FEtchYourNews and for the Team FYN Sports team each and every week following the Pickens Dragons. Also want to thank all the folks at Johnny's New York Style Pizza here in Jasper for being our program sponsor. Once again, appreciate what all those guys do. Speaking of our players over here, let's talk to you guys a little bit. Colin, obviously, we had a couple of juniors in the first segment. You're a junior as well. Well, what are some things that you guys have been working on? I know we had a linebacker, you know, outside linebacker, Connor, in the first segment. How about you guys as a secondary? How are you guys coming together?
Getting our keys and making sure we get our reads and stuff, and making sure, like with our press defense, making sure we get the right hit on the receiver when they release.
Absolutely.
Making sure we know our coverages and rolling over whenever they do sprint outs and things like that. Making sure we know which man is yours.
Right, absolutely. Got to communicate there in the back end for sure. Stay on the same page.
Working on communication a lot too. So.
Yeah, that's very important. Yeah. Very important, particularly as a secondary. How about, and I'll ask you the same thing I asked the other guys, being a junior, having a smaller senior class this year, do you feel, you know, a leadership role even as a junior? Do you feel like you kind of have to take that step up and be a good influence, good role model for maybe some of the freshmen and sophomores that are coming up?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, even sometimes with the seniors, when we get down, you have to be the one to pick them back up for the team.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes you just, even though you're younger, it might feel weird at first, but you just got to learn that's what's best for the team.
Right. Colin's another kid I grew up watching for a little while, playing some baseball and some different things. And here he is. I'm like, man, I can't believe the kids are already in high school. You know, it's like, what the heck? Makes me feel a lot older. But you're doing great out there. Tom, how about you? Let's talk about, again, we've offense, defense, first segment, offense, defense here in the second segment as well. Tom's wide receiver with us right here, Tom Frechette, and as a junior. Talk a little bit about your role. What are some things that you've been working on to get better?
Just like more consistent with everything I do, like just making plays and being consistent, making play after play, and always getting good blocks for the running back. Just if he breaks downfield, he can just take it to the house.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because, people think receivers, they think, you're just going out and running routes every play, catching football. But you guys are getting down and dirty. You're doing a lot of blocking, maybe even more so than pass catching. So kind of describe the kind of attitude that you have to have as a receiver in an offense like this where you're blocking a lot. It's not just about running routes. I mean, how do you feel about blocking and what's the attitude got to be there?
It's like have a mentality you're better than the dude in front of you.
Yeah.
Go out there and just be better than the man in front of you.
I like it. There you go. We were talking about being physical, and particularly as a secondary. I know you want to do things to, get in there and mix it up and jar the ball loose, but it works both ways too, I guess. Now, do y'all guys ever square off in practice, I guess, a little bit? I mean, you guys ever?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? All right. So who gets the better of the... I'll put you on the spot here a little bit. See, they're not going to rat each other out.
Ball hasn't come up yet.
I like that.
Guess we'll see when it gets there.
I guess we'll see. Yeah, exactly. Always, hey, that's the thing. I mean, you guys hit on each other more than you hit on the other team. I mean, y'all are going at it every day in practice for 10 plus weeks out of the year, and you're only playing your opponent every Friday night. So these guys get to know each other on and off the field. Do you feel like it? I guess being on opposite sides of the ball, and I kind of asked this to both of you. I mean, do you feel like you have the opportunity to make each other better?
For sure.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Not even just like positions that go against each other, but positions that don't directly impact each other. It's more of an indirect helper with other positions too.
Right.
So
Absolutely good attitude there indeed. So I know that 2 and 3, not exactly where you guys want to be record wise, but the games that count start now. You got the week off. Obviously, I say the week off. They don't really have the week off. They're still working hard with the bye week. But next week, Cedartown, region games, all those sort of things start. What do you guys look for? I mean, it seems like this team's coming together more and more. Still young, the experience is catching on. But how do you feel this group is coming together?
I feel like we're coming together very well. At the beginning, it was kind of, I guess, weird with a bunch of young kids and stuff that we'd never played with before. So getting your groove with kids that you'd never played with before is kind of tough. But now that we've got some games under our belt, definitely finding our groove with each other.
Sure. Tom, how about you? How do you feel?
Yeah, I guess coming more together as a team and getting comfortable, getting chemistry with each other, trusting each other.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing the man beside you is going to make a play.
I know for you guys being juniors, I mean, it kind of had to feel like with everything going on in the off season, were we even going to get to play, and with you guys being upperclassmen, I mean, I know that everybody's kind of taking that approach of just kind of doing the normal thing, but you're human, just like everybody else. We're all wondering, are we going to get to play? So, I mean, how has it been for you guys playing this year, particularly more so than any other year in your life? How has it been knowing that, hey, here we are, 5 games in the season, looks like we're going to play football? I mean, It's got to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was really scary at first because you didn't know, because it was out of your control. It's one of those things all the other seasons coaches say it might be your last, and back before now it was in your control, but now it's something you can't control, whether you get shut down or not. And coaches emphasize that at practice and stuff, so just treat it like it's your last, because it very well could be.
Right. Good attitude to have for sure. How about you, Tom?
At the beginning of the season, we got shut down for a week, and it was just stressful knowing you put in all that work and you might not even get to play.
Sure. And I know we're talking the majority of football here, but obviously it really goes for all sports. And so whether it's softball, volleyball, cross country, you name it, and of course it'll carry into the other seasons. But so far so good, and that's what we like to see. So we're doing well here. Don't want to jinx it, but we do appreciate you guys being here, and an awesome job. Coach Martin, back to you real quick, and then we'll bring it back to Coach Nelson and kind of wrap things up here. But what do you look forward now? Now we transition Cedartown, 2 weeks. I think Ridgeland after that, but I know it's one game at a time. And so what do you look for the rest of the way?
Like you said, one game at a time. Coach Nelson and Coach Myers, put together a really good plan for us, and it's just, about executing. We know we're going to get good effort out of these kids. It's just we got to put them in a good position, and when they get to that position, they got to finish the play. So when you break it down like that, it sounds easy, but we know it's not going to be. So, we just got to keep working and keep getting better.
Absolutely. Coach, final words as you guys kind of enter this bye week, work on some things, fundamentals, and then, of course, Cedartown looming here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we've talked about it, every week about just taking it one game at a time, like we just mentioned. But it was really even more than that because we were saying we want to get this game and let's get one game under our belt, and then it was like let's get two. And now we're in region play, and I think we're the same focus, but it's even more than it's ever been. It's more magnified now. Approaching it as one game at a time because you do still hear this team got shut down, and so as the kids say, that is something that's in the back of your mind, and so I think in some respects, it kind of motivates you to really get after it because and as we've told the kids, you've heard this your whole time you've played ball from little kid on up, that play every snap like it's your last, and you're in a world now where you don't know the uncertainty of maybe it would be or maybe it's the last for a couple of weeks. So I think that does put you in a position to really be laser focused and on that one game at a time. And I think the kids have done a great job of that this year and really haven't got down about it and really have. I think the worst was when we did get shut down, like the kids mentioned. But their attitude then was, we had online meetings, online practices, and their deal was let's get back to it. So I've been real proud of how they have handled this whole situation, and to be as young as they are, they have really handled this well.
That's awesome, and a lot of teams having to do that, and these Dragons have adjusted well to it, as you said, the online meetings and everything else. So again, Pickens ready to rock and roll right here, and looking forward to seeing the Dragons in a couple of weeks against Cedartown as they kick off the region schedule. Guys, that's going to wrap things up for this week. I want to thank our players for being with us. Colin, Tom, thanks for being with us. Great job, guys. Great interview. Come back anytime. Coach Martin, thanks for being with us. Great job as always. Appreciate you. And of course, Coach Nelson, as always, thanks for being here and putting it all together and wrangling these kids and getting them here. So we appreciate that. That's going to wrap things up for this week's edition of Dragon Talk. Again, for Team FYN Sports and Johnny's New York Style Pizza in Jasper, do remind you guys each and every week you can go on and follow us on Twitter at Team FYN Sports for all your North Georgia high school scores and updates. Also hit the like on our Facebook page as well. And again, you can watch this segment and others right here on FYNTV.com live and also on demand under the Team FYN Sports tab. I want to thank Emily Nicholson, back with us another week, doing a great job tonight producing and directing the program. And that's going to wrap things up for us. We'll see you in a couple of weeks as the Dragons get set to take on Cedartown after the bye week. Join us right here, and we will see you next time. Pickens Power Half Hour, wrap it up. Dragon Talk right here on FYNTV.com.